Hello everyone, Pink Ponage here, and I'm here today to present to you a research study on close range time to kills. I'm going to present to you evidence for time to kills for all the close range weapons, and this is the first time we have anything like this. I conducted this study, but my close friend Spray and Pray, one of the biggest supporters in the Pop 1 community, he came up with the idea, and then I couldn't have done this without my research staff, Mad the Slayer, and Punky Jen. All people in my clan, not my clan, all people in the clan WWW Wild Wild West. So yeah, Wild Wild West video, let's go. Without further ado, let's get to it. Know that I'm going to present to you the results, and then I'm going to show you video clips, side-by-side comparisons, and then I'm going to show you my data, and then I'm going to quickly go over limitations of this study, as every research study should. This table can essentially be taken as an infographic too. It has all the time to kill for the close range weapons presented here in seconds, and these data are an average of trials that I conducted for each weapon at each star. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with the Cyberblade. The Cyberblade has a 0.35 second time to kill. Lower is better, right? That means you have less time to kill someone at full health. Now, clearly, the sword bypasses shield, so it only needs to do 100 damage, and that's 2 swipes of 75. How do you do this, and how do you stay consistent? You have to learn how to do the Yopapi figure 8 Cyberblade technique. It is amazing. It is super consistent. You'll hit 75s every time if you do it right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Yopapi and I's masterclass video on the sword. It'll tell you how to do it. It'll show you clips on how to do it, all right? And with that, I'll show you the video clip of the swipes that were used to calculate this average seconds.
You ready? Mad Divo, so.
Okay. Yeah, well, careful. I don't want to swipe you. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, and... Okay. Again, your turn. You ready? Let me see if I can go faster. Ready? 3, 2...
I've got
2,
full health.
1. Okay. 1.
Looking at the M10. The M10 was really interesting. And the white has a time to kill of 1.43 seconds, and then when you go all the way down to the gold, you have a 1.09 second time to kill, all right? A change, which is delta here, the far right column, a change from white to the 4-star of 0.34 seconds in time to kill, which is awesome, right? Now, one interesting thing to note is that the white is a piece of junk. It's 1.43 seconds. That's a lot. But once you get to the 2, 3, and 4-star, you see a time to kill improvement that is very consistent here, 0.1 second as you go up in each star. Now, note that obviously the improvement in time to kill is not due to the damage of each pellet. It's actually due to the rate of fire. The M10 shoots like a machine gun, right? Now, what's interesting is that the time to kill is not as good as I thought it would be for the gold M10. It's 1.09 seconds, okay? So we can compare it, for example, to the DT, the white DT down here. The white DT actually has a faster time to kill than the gold M10. Just know that, right? If you master the white DT, all right? So now let's get to the video footage of the M10 side by side. So the Matadors are actually more difficult. So the faster you pull the trigger, the faster they shoot. So I decided to do a full trigger press, which is actually what I recommend most people to do because it is more consistent. And then I tried to do the fast trigger press, and it didn't always work out. But let's get to it. When you look at the white star Matador full trigger, it's 2.13 seconds per pull, and that's horrible. And the reason why is because since it does not a lot of damage per pellet, you have to shoot more, and you have to reload once if you're going to kill someone at 200 health, okay? 100 shield, 100 health. So that sucks. White Matadors, avoid those like the plague if you're going to get anything out of this little column or row. Now, when you look at the 2, 3, and 4 star, you see a consistent improvement in time to kill, which gets substantially better at the 4 star, and that is because of the damage per pellet. It does a lot of damage per pellet, so it kills a lot faster. And this is actually the fastest time to kill out of all the other shotguns, at least. Okay, so Matadors standing toe-to-toe with any other shotgun will win gold versus gold. All right, period. If assuming perfect conditions, no one's flying around dodging building, you just stand there and unload on each other, Matadors will win every time, particularly the golds, right? Now, the Matador's fast trigger, what's really interesting here, we can take a few things out of this. First off, the white has such a major improvement when you pull the trigger faster with the fast trigger pull technique. And if you don't understand what I'm saying about this fast trigger pull technique, watch my Matador masterclass video. I'm pulling the trigger like 10 to 15%. It's really hard to do because you get a lot of recoil, and so you have to compensate for the recoil while you're trying to pull it 10 to 15% and spam it, and your fingers get tired. It's really hard. And I haven't mastered it yet, but know that the white one is good because the faster you shoot it, the better benefit you get out of that, since you have to shoot more times with the white. Now you see there is an improvement in time to kill for all the other stars, 2, 3, and 4 star, blue, purple, and gold. But it's not as large as you would think until you get to the gold here. Now even though the gold looks like crazy, and it might be, know that I might take these last two for the fast trigger pull with a grain of salt, because this is only based off of one trial. It was very difficult to do the consistent, really fast trigger pull without whiffing it, clunking it up, and actually ending up slower than full trigger pressing. Okay, so it's not easy to do, but know that if you do it perfect, you're likely to get benefit out of it, which is cool. Okay, now it probably can go as low as 0.55 seconds under perfect conditions, right? You're hitting all your pellets. You're able to pull that, amazingly somehow. But this is all, perfect conditions, right? So just know that we now have evidence that when you pull the triggers faster with the Matadors, you're going to get some benefit in time to kill, all right? And now that seemed obvious, but maybe not so. Okay, we actually have data here to support this. Now. All right, now, really interesting, looking at the DT. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect here, okay? So, first off, when we have the white, the 1 star is 1.12 seconds. That's really comparable to the gold, like we said already. So what I'm trying to tell you is the white DT, if you can master it, as in shoot it without clunking it up, whiffing it, then it's actually amazing, the white star. Now, the problem with the white star, and all experienced DT players will tell you this, is the people will say it shoots slower than the other, star DTs, and it does. But not only that, I feel like it is less forgiving with the trigger and less forgiving with the reload. What do I mean by that? I think that two things. First, if you pull it too fast, it'll clunk up, and you kind of whiffed it. And then it's just going to stop firing, right? If you pull it too fast, the trigger. You have to time it just right without firing it too fast so it clunks up. Well, that's really bad with the white star, okay? You have to be perfect with the time. You actually have to time it kind of slow, your trigger pull, because if you pull too fast, it just totally screws up. And the reload feels like it's less forgiving than the others, okay? And that's subjective. I can't confirm that, right? Or at least I haven't done so here. So now looking at the 2, 3, and 4 star, of course you get a big benefit from the 2 to the 1, just because, subjectively you're able to fire it faster, and then those things I just mentioned. Now, what's really interesting is that when you go to 2, 3, and 4 star, it doesn't see much change. Now, yes, you get better change, and every point, anything second, is going to matter in a DT fight, right? every little bit counts. So a gold versus a purple, you know, you're going to want that gold because even that 0.02 seconds will help. It's not as big as you'd think, okay, which is really interesting. Now, for example, the 3-star to the 4-star is only a 0.02 second difference. Now, this is under perfect conditions, mind you, firing it as fast as possible, okay? Now, there are certainly benefits to the gold, and we filmed this too. First off, the gold has a reduced pellet spread, particularly compared to the white star, okay? And it does seem to have a slightly better spread than the purple. But all of those slight things, they add up, and they make a difference, okay, in practicality or in use. You know, subjectively, I think the gold is also more lenient with how fast you fire it and not whiffing it, as well as giving you a few more frames to maybe even get the reload, as in it feels easier to reload faster and shoot faster than the purple. But if you can master shooting the purple and firing the purple fast, you can do so almost as well as the gold, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I was firing this as fast as I possibly could. Here we have evidence that the DTs have a great time to kill, and if you compare them to the other weapons, particularly the M10, DT is always going to be better than the M10, essentially. Always. Even the white versus the gold, almost, alright? Pretty dang cool. Now, if you compare the DT to the Matadors, clearly if you stand there under perfect conditions, the DT will lose, as in you're just trading shots. But if you're using a DT, everyone's saying the Matador's OP. If you're using a DT, you shouldn't be standing there trading shots with someone who uses the Matadors. You should be building on them, flying on them. I'll have a whole video on how to use that, how to verse the Matadors with the DT, okay? Another time. But just know that the DT is a fantastic weapon. The time to kill is there. But know that, again, time to kill doesn't mean everything, because burst is what it's all about. With the DT, you can just peek over, 2 quick shots, go back behind cover, and you know, really easily, or you can fly out 2 shots and back. Whereas the M10, if you fly out, you know, and back, you're only going to get those 2 shots off when you need to get like a couple more, or one, at least one more, to equivalent the damage with the DT. Because burst is what it's all about, not sustained damage. PvP games, player versus player, are all about the burst. So the DT is great because it has better burst fire. The Matadors have consistent fire, and that's not good, because if you're a good player, you know how to avoid consistent damage, okay? So that's why the DT is certainly king amongst all the other shots. So now let's quickly show you the DT footage, the side-by-side, the spread.
And the gold. A little bit tighter, but not a huge difference. You see that? Let's try that again.
Close range, it's gonna make a significant difference.
Yeah,
Every
you're right.
millisecond counts.
Look at that. Yeah, you can see how the inner ones, 1, 2, 3, this inner row is the gold. I wonder if the blue.
Okay, so now that you've seen the clips and we talked about the data and gone through it, I'll show you the actual data I have here for all those trials. And just a couple things were interesting. Going over the M10, it was really consistent, obviously, because I just pulled the trigger. The Matadors had variation, but honestly, I was pretty happy with how it turned out, except the fast trigger pull, which I did fail a couple times. The DT was actually really consistent. If you look at it, the purple, I literally had the same outcome with the purple as the gold, okay? It's really funny because it felt like the gold was firing faster when I was doing it, but it didn't actually work out that way. Honestly, it felt faster. Maybe it just felt easier. I don't know. But it didn't work out when I actually did it. So really interesting there. Okay. But limitations. Okay. First off, limitations. I'm playing on a Valve Index, which is set at 144 frames per second. I recorded the footage at 72 frames per second, though. So what does that mean? That means that when I had zoomed in on the seconds, because I'm trying to cut clips of each, I literally had to go in there and cut a clip for each time I killed someone, from when the weapon shot and the guy died, for each of these stars for each of these weapons. It took forever. But know that when I only have 72 frames per second to work with, I can only go down so deep, so there will be a little bit of error. That being said, with the consistency I see here, I can't imagine it makes that big a difference. It might be like a 0.01 second difference at maximum, maybe, or 2 to 3 seconds, whatever. It's not huge, okay, which is, there's no such thing as a perfect measure. If you're a scientist, you'll understand that. But any measure you have in this world, nothing's perfect, okay? And so now the second limitation is that this is all obviously biased because I was the one shooting the dang guns, all right? First off, the ones that will definitely influence the most are the Matadors and the DT. Well, I can now probably shoot the Matadors better than most players in the world, so I feel pretty good about that one. Doing that consistent fast trigger pull thing, I don't even think a lot of people know about that, how to do it really well. So that's still there to be mastered, and I'm trying. I'm slightly practicing every day on that. Not easy to do, and I'm not even sure if it's possible on the Quest 2. I haven't actually tried it yet, but it's possible on the Valve Index. Is it easy? No. Possible? Yes. Now the DT, I have been using the DT pre-patch, and I have been using the DT for many, many, many hours post-patch. I feel very confident in everything. And now that I'm seeing the gold, I don't feel confident about it because I feel like it kills faster, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the spread and I'm hitting the shots better, which it probably is. But know that I really tried to shoot as fast as I possibly could, and I'm on a Valve Index, and I know how to shoot these things fast, and I even practiced before I killed the person. You can check if you really want to call me out on this. I know so many all you people are going to want to try and do that, particularly on DT. Go to my Twitch account, go to my video collections, see how fast I'm firing the gold. If you think you can do better, record 3 kills of the purple DT and 3 kills of the gold DT. Give me that footage, and I will help cut that up for you. And I will see if it is any different than what I have here, and we will gladly fix, okay? That's what science is all about, evolution of the knowledge, all right? And so if you want to call me out and think you can do better, do it. Send me the footage, and I'll cut it up, and we'll do. You probably better have it at 72 frames per second, or 60 at worst, I guess. But 72 frames per second if you're going to do that kind of thing. But otherwise, I really had a lot of fun doing this. This was a lot of work. Once again, thank you Spray and Pray, thank you Mad the Slayer, and thank you Punky Jim. Couldn't have done this without y'all. It was really fun to do. And know that this will be one of a series of videos. We actually recorded all the other weapons, but this took so long to do. I'm just going to work on the close range. We already have the theoretical time to kills for most of the other weapons, but we will actually put some actual evidence to those other weapons. Okay, so thank you for watching. Appreciate y'all for being here, and